4 days. You need to manufacture energy. You need to talk to each other. You need to just say, you just don't get these opportunities again. Don't ever regret this right now. Champions are champions, right? Because they bring their best when it's needed most. You are ready, and you've been preparing for this all your life, some of you, and particularly this season. You got to believe today that in yourself and that team. Play with the poise of a champion. The champion get rattled, right? They don't get rattled. You play with the patience of a champion. There's no way nobody is prepared better than Michigan basketball. And you guys prepare yourself every day with how you live. You win games with offense, but you win championships with defense. And defense is about being connected. We got to be the most connected defensive team. Wherever anybody is, we're all together. We're looking out for each other. We're in a stance, we're playing. You win games with offense. You win championships with defense. Let's be the best defensive team we can ever be today. Let's go.
7 to shoot. A jab step around a screen from Teske. A bounce pass. Nice pocket pass. Teske jammed it through. To Teske, right back to Rockmont. Fadeaway three. Money. Under 14 minutes remaining. He weaves his way in down the right side. Hook shot off the glass. How did that fall?
Wolverines is playing with a certain air, a certain swagger about him that, hey, we'll take your hit, but you better be ready to take ours also.
Simpson, sick crossover. Inside alley-oop, and Teske kissed it off the window down.
Tell you what, Xavier Simpson is oohing on this crowd.
15 to shoot, shoulder shakes. Teske, he's open from 15, ring it up.
Tell you what, John Teske has his game face on, and I'll tell you what, he's hyped.
Picked up, moving right to left. Crossover dribble, stops at the free throw line. Rockmont for three, ring it up. And out of Rockmont, in transition, feeds Simpson, eyes the three, got the three. That kid has been awesome. Put him on my back. I'll carry to you to a championship trophy. 64-48. Simpson with a dribble drive. Tosses to a cutting Teske. Oh. There's a thunderous dunk.
Oh, right in his grill. Are you kidding me? John Teske
brought some anger with that double-handed slam, and Matt Painter forced to call a timeout. Purdue's going to surrender. Michigan is the third team in Big Ten history to win back-to-back Big Ten tournament championships. They beat Purdue 75-66. Let the confetti rain in New York.
It's hard to beat the team 3 times in a row, and we just stuck to our game plan offensively and defensively, and we came out on top.
4 games in 4 days. You don't have no choice but to be relentless. And we was fighting fatigue. Body's probably tired, but we said we done came too far just to start complaining. So let's go ahead, give it our all, and win it all.
Twice is just as nice. It feels incredible. In this venue, with this group of guys, everything I ever want.
Everybody's learning. Everybody's just staying inside the box, playing hard and playing smart and playing together. When we do things like that, any team can be dangerous.
Being a leader on this team, took a backseat last year, rightfully so. Derek and other guys like Zach, but this year it feels even better.
This is so much fun, When the confetti comes down, you're about to cut the net. You kind of think of last year. I mean, we've been through this already, and I'm just so grateful to be part of such a good group.
You guys did it. You guys did it. You started taking ownership about how many we won in a row? After the Northwestern game, right? We started taking ownership. You sat there, you watched some F charts, you watched some different things, and you just went with it.
Inside Michigan Basketball is brought to you by Gardner White. You'll overpay anywhere else. And by Jaguar.
I have one regret of the whole thing. I wish I would have just stepped back when it was done and just looked and just circled the arena and looked at everybody after it was all done. You're on to the next thing, and, they're bringing the trophies out, and the confetti's flying, and I almost have a job to do on the floor. I wish I would have stepped back, because it was incredible. Madison Square Garden, huge Michigan environment, and a sellout crowd. I mean, this was both, in all the games, it was just like a great environment again for everyone just to be involved with. Our kids will never, ever forget that. I think the only thing could ever, get in front of it would be a national championship, a Final Four national championship. That was I can say would rival Washington, D.C., but even go one more because of the presence of Michigan in the world's greatest arena.
Yeah, I talked with Kathleen on the floor while you guys were celebrating, and it could not have been a better weekend because you won a championship and Patrick won a championship. And that's the first thing you asked to people in the stands, too. Why is that?
Well, I knew he was playing at the same time. This was after the Michigan State game.
Right.
And I knew he was playing and to win a championship. And I later found out that Le Moyne's only won 2 championships. It was 30 years ago that we won one, and now Patrick won the next one.
Wow.
And so just the odds of all these things are just incredible. The stars lining up. You know, I got strong faith, Matt, and there's some incredible blessings coming to the Beeline family right now and to this team. And it was really neat for me to be able to share that with him, and of course he's got his whole team watching the championship the next day, and we had Shauna had her family, you know, there watching our game and watching his game. I mean, it's just an incredible series of events that can rarely happen.
Why do you like coaching this team so much?
I love teaching, and I love to see. I see it's more teaching than coaching in my business, and I love to see these guys sort of get it. I love to see when John Teske, you know, you don't know how many times in 2 years I would say, just go up and dunk it. If you miss it, it's okay, but go up strong. Don't try not to miss. Try to dunk. And when he did that, and I saw him down the floor, that's probably, if he would have got a technical, I probably would have approved of that technical, because at least I would have seen some emotion out of him.
Yeah.
But it's those little things.
Duncan Robinson, his growth as a defensive player.
Oh, yeah, just that. I loved when things got a little bit testy with Michigan State, that you know, one of the Michigan State players jumped up in Charles's face, and he stood there and looked him right in the eye. He didn't push back, but he didn't walk away. He stood right there and said, we're in here to stay, right? We're in here. I thought that was a great moment for him, where I think normally in his time maybe he might have shoved somebody, and all of a sudden we got technical fouls and he's out of the game or something like that. He was mentally tough when he needed to be mentally tough.
What is your team doing so well right now that encourages you most about a possible long run?
Well, I think our defense is really good. That's what wins championships, is defense. It just won us the Big Ten championship. It wasn't. I told the guys several times over the weekend, hey, we got some pretty plays. That's not winning for us right now. We got to stand in there and guard and make sure that when we shoot the ball well and we're really in sync offensively, we can beat anybody. But we're not. That's not always going to happen. And as a result, we got to play defense, and that was really what won us that tournament. So that's the happiest I've been with our defense.
What is similar, though, with this team's DNA to last year's team's DNA?
Oh, there weren't distractions. There weren't distractions off the court, going to class or just being a good teammate last year. There weren't distractions with, you know, guys. We had NBA players on the team, but their persona was not, hey, this is just a stopover. Actually, none of our teams have done that.
No, they all
really
like one another.
I don't care. I think everybody knew Trey Burke was going to probably go out after his sophomore year. You would have never known if you went to practice every day. So that's been pretty basic. But those two teams, both, they had guys that were really, they came to Michigan for the right reasons, and they were playing basketball for Michigan for the right reasons.
You're in a unique spot right now. We've never had this situation going into the NCAA tournament with an entire week off. Is that a good, bad, or indifferent thing for you?
We only have one choice: make it a good thing. You know, we got rest yesterday. We're going to have a 90-minute practice today, plus watch some video and lift. I use it as a time to gain our strength back. You know, our guys haven't lifted now in a week. And that can throw you off. You got to have some consistency to it. So, and then there's just some things, especially with our young guys, but with everybody. You know, there's things that get sloppy during the year, and you just don't have time to drill them over and over. We'll have no legs. So this is a great time for us to have this. I don't want to call them. There's a bunch of little mini camps. They're 2-day mini camps that we can get some things accomplished, rest. Get some things accomplished, rest. Selection Sunday, who are we playing? So I look at 4 really good days of practice this week. Okay. We're not worried about anything but ourselves for the first time in months. And it only can be a good thing.
It's interesting because in 2006, when my Tigers played your Cardinals, and you won the series.
Yes, we did. We did win.
The Tigers had a long layoff because the Cardinals were still trying to get there. So baseball wasn't on track. And they had to go through some practices. They liked to play, right, in baseball. You know that. Your team has played so well. The 4 games in 4 days didn't bother you one bit, winning 9 straight. Do you worry about momentum being broken if there's such a thing?
I'm not going to. I am going to. Friday we're going to have like a legitimate scrimmage. We're going to have it, make it look like a game situation. We're going to have officials. We're going to play 2 teams against each other, whether we choose up or not. Have Sadi coach one, Dre coach the other one. I'll watch the overall offense, and Luke will watch the overall defense. I think we'll get what we need there. Heart rate up, timeouts, the whole thing. And I don't think that's a bad thing. It'll be a little bit different. But then as we get ready for this next, I bring up the point all right. Gonzaga's had great NCAA tournament runs. They've always had 2 weeks off, right? And the same to Wichita State has always had 2 weeks off. And they're a great NCAA team. So we'll work it out, and we won't even talk about it. We'll just look at this great opportunity just to get better.
Up next, our Iron Man of the Week. It's a backup big man who's improved as much as any player on this U of M team. And later on, another Michigan big man who loves telling fans about his alma mater. It's now time for our Al Rose Steel Iron Man of the Week. Here's Ed Kingerski.
The unexpected star of Michigan's Big Ten championship game win was center Jon Teske. His 14-point effort, 12 in a 10-minute stretch, was only his 3rd double-digit game of the season.
Obviously, Mo got in foul trouble a little bit, and so to step up on that big of a stage, I think it's a huge step for me. Not just myself, but to show the coaches what I'm capable of doing.
Big John's big dunk in the second half was the talk of the tourney.
After the game, I'd probably get like a couple of text messages from my mom and dad and my girlfriend. And I looked at my phone, it was like probably over 100. And just a lot of my family and friends and a couple of just random numbers just saying great game and like what a great dunk. And like, I mean, I still can't believe really what happened. I mean, obviously watching those, it's awesome to see. But at the time, I really didn't know what was going on. Like, my head was kind of everywhere.
You also must not have known what was going on when Xavier went at you. What were you thinking in that moment?
I honestly didn't hear the whistle at first. I was just trying to get back on defense. And then once I saw it was a timeout, I was just trying to get back to the huddle. And X and JP just came up and started hitting me in the chest. And on one of the videos, I saw JP throw a towel at my head. I don't even remember that. And I don't know, they're going crazy.
Teske is nicknamed Big Sleep, a moniker he was bestowed with prior to his career at Michigan.
My high school coach, Anthony Stacy, for 2 years, we'd have early morning practices or something, and I'd always look tired, sleepy, and like come to my friends and say like, and they just kind of came up with the name Big Sleep, and it's just kind of stuck ever since.
John moves well for a guy his size. Defensively, he's a space eater. He changes the way an offense attacks. Think of a golfer shooting through a tree. When the tree is bare, he can see just fine. But when that tree is in full bloom, he takes away your view.
And when people come down the lane, just try and step up and either force tough twos or alter the shot like you said, or try and go up and block shots. So that's what I try and do.
With more performances like the Big Ten tournament, where John also had 6 blocks in 4 games, this team shows another layer that makes it a dangerous one during the NCAAs.
I know my role, and I just got to go on there and play my game, and you know, obviously get a couple more buckets here or there, that's great. But if I get some stops and stuff, then that's also great too.
For Inside Michigan Basketball, I'm Ed Kingerski.
You're going to get those three-point shots and those three-point looks. Simpson able to penetrate, get into that paint, get 2 feet in the paint, draw the defense, kick it off of Arnold.
Terry Mills won a state championship at Romulus High School, a national championship at Michigan, and spent 11 years in the NBA. Our Leaders in Best segment is brought to you by Gardner White Furniture. But some of Mills's most enjoyable basketball moments have been giving us analysis of Michigan basketball, especially this season. We chatted about his famous teams and this Big Ten tournament Michigan Championship Club. What do you like most about what we do?
I think I like what most about this job is the fact that we're around the players, we're around the team. get an opportunity to see these guys grow, you know, each and every day. And, you know, when you start winning ball games, you kind of see the other side of these players that now they start to open up. You know, you look at guys like Charles Matthews, who comes in, don't say a single word to you. Xavier Simpson, don't say a single word to you. Then all of a sudden they start opening up and finally start to realize, to say, hey, that guy did play here. He played in the NBA, and start looking up your stats and things like that. So that's the fun part of it to me.
This program only has one national championship, and it's you in 1989. Everybody remembers what happened against Seton Hall, but what about leading up to? What was special about that?
Well, you know, what was special was that we had to grow. And what it was, I think you look at myself, you look at Sean Higgins, you look at Ramil Robinson. You're talking about guys that make down All-Americans, and everybody wanted the ball. So we had to kind of grow together and learn to share the basketball. And Glenn Rice was pretty much the leader on this team. And once everybody kind of knew what their world was, it was like, hey, Glenn's going to be the shooter, we'll fill in. And that's the way it was.
11 years in the NBA is a long time, man. You played for a lot of different organizations, met a lot of good friends. You still talk to them to this day. How did that impact your life, playing that long in that league with the best players in the world?
Well, I mean, it definitely impacted my life. It helped me as far as, you know, friendships, long-term goals. You and I get a chance to see Rick Mahorn, Grant Hill. Those are long-time relationships, and you've been around to see those guys share their story. So to overall, I think that's what helped me the most, is just to be around those guys and see how things are coming around in a complete circle and how these guys are working, you know, along doing the same thing that I'm doing.
Why would you have wanted to play for John Beilein?
Well, I just think that he's a coach that gets every player involved. He's put players in positions to succeed. I mean, you may not believe it at first, but if you trust and believe in this guy, and I can use Duncan Robinson for an example, a guy who he said basically, hey, not that you just lost your starting position, I think you'll be better coming off the bench playing this role. Okay, Duncan Robinson may not believe that at first, but now all of a sudden Duncan Robinson's Sixth Man of the Year, and guess what? He believes in John Beilein.
There's a lot of times this season where I wondered aloud, could this team do it? Fill in the blank. You never wavered. What gave you the belief this team could be Big Ten tournament champions again and be a threat in the NCAA tournament?
Well, they have all the pieces, and it's about coming together and holding each other accountable. And it reminds me a lot of that '89 team where you can always point the finger and blame each other about, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. And the bottom line is, do your job, do what's asked of you, and hold each other accountable. And I think that's what we all started to do. Hey, Terry, you're going to set picks, you're going to rebound, you're going to make sure that this doesn't happen. Sean, this is what you're going to do. Glenn, this is what you're going to do. You're going to shoot the ball.
Defined roles.
Yeah, defined roles, exactly. And when you can get to a team where you can start to define roles, everybody has a role to play. There's no doubt about that. And when you look at this Michigan team now, everybody's enjoying and playing their role, whether they're called up on 1 minute, 2 minutes, or even 30 minutes. Everybody's playing their role.
When you and I were in East Lansing, you said Michigan's going to win this game. When they played Michigan State in the semifinals, Grant Hill asked you for your opinion. You said Michigan's going to win. When they played Purdue for the championship in New York, you told Grant Hill Michigan's going to win. Why those matchups did you favor Michigan? Why were you so confident they were going to get it done?
Well, you and I have an opportunity to see the game plan. And when I look over the game plan, I just start shaking my head, say, you know what, that's going to work. You know, that's going to work. That's going to be the determining factor. And to hear Coach John Beilein say, you know, against Michigan State, to say, hey, we're not going to talk about it. We're going to let our game show. We're going to be about it. And just to see how loose the guys were about it, they understood what it was. They understood what the matchup was all about. And they went out, and I think it said it best on their shirt, you know. Don't do a whole lot of talking and get the job done.
Thanks, buddy. Great being with you, man. Just love working with you for sure. We love doing this show as well, Inside Michigan Basketball. Hope you can join us next week. We'll know where the Wolverines will be. We know who they'll play. We'll have reaction, highlights, and a lot more. If you can join us, we invite you back. And until then, have a great week, everybody, and go Blue.